Sessions live. All right, 7:31. So it's time. Looks like we have a handful of people here. Thank you for joining, Lindsay, Tim, Morgan, Jamie, Taylor, Matthew. Excited to have y'all here. We believe in starting on time, so I'm gonna get started here. You're welcome to put any questions you have in the chat. On the bottom, there's a little icon with, oh, Jamie, what's up? Hey, Garrett. Yep, I'm here. So Jamie's already got the chat going. So you're welcome to put any questions you want in the chat. Be happy to answer them as we go along. So hopefully this can be somewhat of a dialogue. If you want to ask a question face to face, because it's nice to just chat and talk, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Just maybe put that in the chat, like, hey, I'd like to ask a question to Garrett, in person or virtually, and Taylor on our team can pop you up and you'll come in live. We're going to bring Matthew, who's a former Surf Term student and Surf and Service member as well, on here to begin with. So let me just get a quick pulse check. Can someone just let me know, do you see my screen with the Discover Term logo on it, Surf and Service info session? Maybe just pop in the chat. Do you see that? Okay, yes, perfect. All right. Thank you all. So we're going to start here. Just going to give you a little bit of agenda. I'm going to give a tiny intro on myself. We're going to talk about the Surf and Service program, life on campus, what the service program is, some details and logistics about the upcoming Surf and Service in May and June, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end. And again, feel welcome to bring those up as we go along as well. So just a little bit about myself. I'm Garrett Webergale. I live in Austin, Texas. I have two beautiful kids, an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. I just love the outdoors. I love kids. I always have. I love human potential and figuring out what you're capable of. I went on that journey for a long time in sports, went to the Olympics in swimming. That's me on the kind of top left there with Michael Phelps, won 2 gold medals in the 2008 Olympics in swimming, broke a world record there that still stands today. On the top right, I did a bunch of cooking adventures around the world. That's Michel Trevero, one of the most famous chefs in the history of the world. My son there on the bottom right, he and I went on a llama adventure in 2021 with a bunch of families that actually inspired Discover Term and the adventures that we do with kids. So I just love the outdoors. I love kids. I love human potential. And I feel just beyond smitten that we get to run these programs and make such an impact on young people's lives at a really formative moment in their life as well. I'm just going to show you a little bit of a video of what Discover Term is. This is 1 minute and 12 seconds. It'll just give you kind of a brief overview of what our adventures look like for kids 6th through 12th grade. So you get a sense of what that looks like. So hopefully this So you get a sense of what Discover Term is like, what the adventures are like. We serve kids in Colorado and Costa Rica. To give you a little bit of a sense, we've got 2 kind of different tracks here at Discover Term. We have 5-week programs for 6th through 9th graders. Those happen during the academic year. We have powder term and surf term in Colorado and Costa Rica. And then we have 2-week programs in Colorado and Costa Rica for 8th through 12th graders. When we started Discover Term, the whole idea was, hey, Jamie and I thought, like, how do we get kids outside on epic adventures off of phones and screens where they can learn more of what they're capable of? We started with Powder Term, which was in January and February 2022. That had just a huge positive impact on a lot of kids, and people were asking, hey, what other adventures could you do? We started Surf Term later that year. Matthew, who's on this call, was a student at our first Surf Term. He's going to tell a little bit about his experience at some Discover Term programming. And then people just kind of asked, like, hey, do you have anything for older kids in the summer? A lot of the kids aged out past 9th grade. So we launched the summer programs. And tonight we're talking about Surf and Service. Really, the whole ethos is outside, off phones, really cool adventures, and learning life skills. And that is like surfing, skiing, snowboarding, mountain biking, where kids can exercise those life skills throughout the rest of their life. Why is this? Okay, great. So the Surf and Service experience, the surf program, I think we should just start there. That's kind of like the quintessential. People love hearing about that. That's a huge piece of what we do. So we're just, a few minute walk from the beach in Costa Rica in the town of Nosara. These are real students. These are the types of waves they surf. It's an awesome warm water place where kids of all abilities can come and learn how to surf like this. We have a lot of kids who have never surfed before, and we have kids like Matthew who are from California and who grew up surfing. We surf twice a day in the morning. Just a little bit about it, but we do kind of an individual assessment at the beginning to understand someone's surfing ability. And then when you get to Nosara, you do some assessment with the coaches there. You surf coach session typically in the morning, and then buddy surfing in the afternoon. We do a lot of kind of intentional technique work. Sometimes people think like, oh, well, hey, I've surfed before, I don't need lessons. Our frame of reference is like, how do we learn the technique of something? How do we learn how to look at the ocean and read the waves and understand where the tide is going and understand the ocean? There are so many facets to surfing that students can learn and apply to other aspects of life. And so we view surfing as more than just a physical skill that we're doing. This is actually something that we're learning about ourselves. We're learning about the environment. We have kids of all skill levels. Typically, a lot of these beginners start on the inside wave. They're kind of smaller, crumbly waves. And it's a sand bottom. They can, jump off the board and they're on sand bottom. And then all the students move out to the outside break by the end of the program, where there's a bigger wave that sometimes curls or arch. It's less crumbly. They learn how to paddle out. One of my favorite stories from Surf Term, the first Surf Term, there's a young woman named Cameron who was there. She kept paddling, trying to get out past kind of the surf zone where the waves were crashing from the outside in. And then she finally got out there after a couple weeks and rode her first wave in from the outside. And the look on her face and like the new impression of what she thought she was capable of, that's what we're trying to help these kids experience, like a new idea of what they're capable of, what might be possible for them in the world. We do some yoga and stretching, learn mindfulness about our body before we go out there. We do some visualization exercises of practicing popping up on a surfboard, riding a wave, understanding the ocean before you actually get there, so we can do more reps as opposed to just the time in the water. Although there is a lot of time in the water. It's like 2 to 3 hours of surfing per day. A lot of times the first surf session is at 6 or 6:30 in the morning. Morgan asked a question, how long does it usually take for a beginner to learn how to surf? That's a good question. I think there's kind of a spectrum there. I would say most kids are standing up on the inside break on the first day. They're riding much longer, much more flotacious boards. Flotacious is a word I don't actually know, but they have a lot more flotation, so they're much easier, they're much wider to ride. And then as the students progress, they might change their board, they get a lot more confidence, they move out to the outside wave. So it is kid dependent, but we have not had issues with kids learning to surf and being effective out there. We constantly assess the student's ability as well, to understand just where they are and how we can help them improve. And do they need to be in a different coach group? Typically, the surf coaches are with 2 to 3 students per surf coach. Those are local surf coaches from Nosara. In some cases, they've been surfing that break for 20 years, so they know a lot about that place. We surf right, near a lifeguard stand in Nosara as well. Taylor, is there any way we can bring Matthew in here? I think maybe that would be like an interesting piece for him to comment on, just what he witnessed seeing kids who hadn't surfed before surf in the program and what that was like.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, Matthew. Hey, so this is Matthew. He came to the first surf term in 2022 in the fall, and then he came to. Did you come to Surf and Service twice?
Yeah,
Once?
I went to the first one and the most recent one.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So can you just tell us a little bit, like, what was your experience surfing down there as someone who has surfed, growing up from
Yeah,
California?
yeah. I would say like it was obviously like a little intimidating because some of the instructors were pretty good at surfing, but like still, I felt like sometimes I actually felt like apart from the group because everybody was on the inside, and I was like, I wanted to be with them, you know. But like more so, like I got to learn so much more than I thought I ever would before, you know. Yeah.
And what was your kind of like experience witnessing some of the kids who had not ever surfed before? You heard anecdotes from them, you saw them. What was their experience like coming in, maybe not having surfed, and having some kind of ambiguity of what that experience was like for them?
Yeah, well, instantly I just saw smiles after smiles. Like everybody was so happy, and like I was happy for them because I love seeing that. Like that just gives me so much joy, and like this spreading like surfing this makes you feel good, and like if you like have that feeling, that just makes you feel like the happiest person on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it feel like for you when you're surfing?
My mind is completely free, and the only thing I'm worrying about is either running over Sam who went to surf term or falling off the wave or something like that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. And what would you say, like, to some parents maybe who were like, maybe worried about water safety, or their kid hasn't been in the ocean before? I don't know how my kid might experience, waves, or the waves can be really scary for them. Like, what would you say to a parent like that, or have you witnessed any of those things?
Yeah, I would say like first thing at Costa Rica, they've gotten much better about it with like the lifeguards and stuff. And so now there's many lifeguards always on watch, watching the whole beach. And also the instructors are always watching you. And even if like the instructor isn't part of your group, they're always watching everyone, making sure everyone is counted for. And like I would say you shouldn't worry because everyone is responsible, everyone is safe. And also like me as like I'm a lifeguard as well. And like I always watch out for everybody and make sure everybody's okay. And also the surfers in the water, everybody cares about each other out there. And so no matter who you are, who's like which group you're in, everybody will keep you safe.
Yeah, I mean, and I think your experience perhaps growing up in California, the tone of some of the surfers in California is, I
Yeah,
think, different than
yeah,
Costa Rica. I mean,
for
even
sure.
the locals in Costa Rica, my experience has been they're still super friendly and
Yes.
joyful, whereas Californian surfers can be very territorial, and it can be a different vibe.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Costa Rica, everybody there is like the nicest person ever. They have no problem at all.
Yeah. What was your Morgan wants to know, what was your favorite part of the program, Matthew?
I think my favorite part of the program was actually the no phone policy, actually,
Okay, tell
because
me more about that.
yeah, so basically, like, I just thought it was the most because like everybody at first thinks, oh, like I can't use my phone, I can't talk to people from home, but like once you're there and like it forces you to like have a connection with people and what is it, and like to be actually present in the moment and like throughout the whole trip we're doing so much work and so much stuff and so much fun stuff that we're not even going to be thinking about our phone. Then at like for me at the end of the trip, I wanted to throw my phone in a ditch because I was just having too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vividly remember an anecdote your dad sent us after the first surf term that
Yes.
kind of blew his mind. You had come to him when you were going to study and were like, "Hey, take my phone from me. I need to go study, and I'm not going to be able to get my work done
Yeah.
while I have my phone."
That's exactly it. And I still do it to this day. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that.
Yes.
Um, So yeah, this is, some surf from kids. This is what the beach looks like. Super awesome place that we get to call home for a couple weeks in the surf and service program this summer. We also do video analysis. This is something that I learned to be super valuable in my road to the Olympics. It's really hard to fully understand what you're doing just hearing it. A lot of times you have to see yourself doing something, number one. And then you need to see what it looks like for someone who's really effective at doing something. So we'll watch videos of students, so everyone gets to see what they're looking like. And then we'll watch video of other great surfers, and then the surf coaches will comment on, hey, what does it look like? See how they're doing this, see how they're doing that. They get a sense of what the model can look like for how you should be surfing, how you should be popping up, where your head position should be like when you're riding down a wave. So this is something that we use that is a very effective tool as well. The service program, that's a big piece of this component. In the 5-week programs, we do academics, which are really fun and intense. This is something where we focus on service. So we want to make sure that this age group, 8th through 12th graders, gets an opportunity to contribute something really meaningful to the environment where they're going to be spending their time. So they spend about 6 to 8 hours per week doing hands-on service. So they plant trees with local organization, reforesting the coastal region. They do a lot of beach cleanup. As you know, there are a lot of things that wash up on beaches, and they spend time cleaning up the beach, restoring that natural wildlife area where they're going to spend so much time during the course of the program. There are some other, maybe Jamie, I don't know if he's on here. Could you maybe pop Jamie on, and we'll see if maybe Jamie wants to say anything else about kind of the service aspect, or just like what he's seen that means for the students. You'll see some other pictures here. They really get their hands dirty. They get involved in something that's meaningful for the local area. Taylor, I don't know if you can pop Jamie on here or not. Oh, here he comes. We'll see if his video and mic work. He's muted.
Go ahead and unmute Jamie if you can.
Or Matthew also can pop back on. Matthew, he did the service component. He can talk a little bit about that as well. I don't know if Jamie. Oh wait, here's Jamie. Hey, Jamie. Cool, good to see you. Wait, you're still muted. Maybe can you pop on the bottom?
Okay, sorry.
Hey.
I'm not used to this app yet.
We're not either. It's our first time using it.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be great to hear from Matthew on this. The service component at Surf and Service, we do spend a lot of time with Costa Rica, which is a reforestation project in the beach area down in Nosara. The last 2 years, we have planted, I think it's like 600 or 700 trees just with our group. And we work with a guy named Gerardo Bolanos there. He's been doing this since, I think, 2012. This entire jungle area by the beach there was decimated by cattle farms in the 90s and early 2000s. And he's planted over 100,000 trees now. So we work with him at the nursery, helping getting small trees ready to plant. And then we also work down at the beach in the mangrove area, actually planting trees. Matthew, anything else to add?
Yeah, I would just say like for more like the trash on the beach part, like that part is like had a major impact on me, because I've also like done that at my school where I've like made my own club called Surf and Service. And we do like surfing and beach cleanups, and it's taught me so much just about like how in order to like have the happiness we get from surfing, we need to keep our beaches clean for sure.
And I think I love that. I think there's like something about kind of one thing I learned actually when I was working in these famous kitchens around the world is these places can train your eye for what to look for. And with this age group, if we can train their eye to, hey, look for things in your environment that you could pick up, look for things in your environment that you can make better. Like this actually can make an impact. I mean, it's insane. You spend 15, 20 minutes and you can fill a whole trash bag with plastic or bottles or other things. Like, that is a small piece, but you see visibly just how big of an impact that can make. And so that's, one of our other intentions with this. How can we do service work that's tangible for the kids, that can train their eye to be stewards of their environment? Cool. So an example of the schedule, just give a sense, the wake up time is pretty early. Sometimes parents are a little surprised, like, my kid's never going to wake up at 5:20 or 5:30 or 6 o'clock. It's pretty tiring. And Matthew, maybe you can just even articulate just like what it's like at the end of a day at Surf and Service. I mean, by 8:30, the lights are out. People are pretty wiped. I mean, you can see like guided serve starts at 6. You're having a second breakfast. We do leadership activities. We have lunch, rest and free time, community service. You're in the sun, you're planting trees, have dinner. What kind of like, what did the day in the life at Surf and Service feel like to you?
It's definitely like a lot, but also it's like that comes with so much fun and like energy, like feeling stuff like. And like by the end of the day, I definitely like feel tired, but also because we're going to bed like super early, like in the morning, I'm like, who wouldn't want to go surf in Costa Rica? Like, come on, let's be real. So, and I instantly want to get up and just go keep on surfing more and like keep on learning about community service and also this like making more connections with other people.
Yeah. What was like, was there any part of the, day or week that you found particularly challenging?
Um, hmm. I don't think so. Not really much. I think like maybe I think the hardest part was actually for me was rest time because we just all wanted to go out and like play on the beach or something like that. But obviously the rest time was definitely crucial for us to have more energy for all the stuff we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk to me about, I mean, you mentioned that you felt like the best part about the experience was the fact that you didn't have your phones. Um, I mean, you're at an age where like you're sitting at the, lunch table or the dinner table, you're out with friends, and it's probably very common that you're on your phone. What was it like to make relationships and spend time with your peers in an environment where your only option was to look at each other? Like, how did that impact your relationships with the kids that you were with?
Yeah, it definitely like made my relationship with other people like expand, like definitely like more than if I had a phone, like with the phone, obviously we're kind of talking maybe a little bit, but I mean, we're not actually really communicating, but without a phone, we can actually like get into deeper conversations about stuff and like find stuff that interests to all of us. And then that can spark more conversation. And like how you're saying with dinner at phones, I actually like now me and my friends, we all put our phones at the middle of the dinner table now when we're at dinner, so we can just actually talk and communicate. Like,
Really?
yeah.
Was there anything that surprised you of what it was like not having a phone for 2 weeks?
How like stress free it was. Like everyone is so like attached to like social media and everything now, and I mean I'm too, but like when I'm without my phone, I just like feel I have no like worries about who I'm gonna text or which TikTok I'm gonna like or something like that. It's just I feel so free and can do anything I want.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Life on campus, and you can just pop on, you stay on here if you want, because you have a lot of great anecdotes about this. We have our own surf lodge. How many minute walk do you think it is from the beach, Matthew?
What did you say? Sorry.
How many minute walk from the beach is it?
Probably like 15 to 20. It's not bad.
Okay.
Like on the beach too, so it's super nice. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was kind of like, what did it feel like being kind of in that space? So in that space, the team stays in separate living areas than the actual students, but everyone is in the same place. So we have community place where everyone eats and does activities. There's a pool out back. Well, I think maybe the next slide has another picture of that. So you can get a sense of like kitchen, dining, separate rooms for boys and girls, common areas, gardens. Just like what was it like spending time in that space? How did it make you guys feel? How did it provide an environment for you guys to facilitate friendships and relationships?
Yeah, like I felt very like welcomed in that space right as we got there. Like of course I've been to Costa Rica before and we stayed at a different place, but this place just felt like it felt very open and also easy and like easy to use. Like the kitchen, we were more open to that than like other like them past times. And so I just felt like I could live how I normally live, but with more fun. We're in Costa Rica, we're with friends, and also like you say something about like the relationships with students or something like
Yeah,
that.
just like, provide. I think this place provides a great environment for you guys to just hang out and be together.
Yeah.
That's part of the thing that we wanted to create at Discover Term is lifelong friendships for people.
Yeah. I would say like definitely the pool that you can see in the picture there.
Yeah.
Everybody like during rest time or whatever, we're tanning all together in the pool playing around, which is just like that just sparks so much connections and relationships. And also like there's like a couch area where we're all like sit down before dinner and we can all just talk and like talk about our days and talk about like what we want to do after this camp.
Yeah, that's a great point. So this is a place where we have meals, we have continental breakfast and snacks. We do have a full-time chef that's down there with us that makes everything. A big part of this is students have to have chores. We have ship shape groups where they have to take care of the lodge and their space, and we have room checks before breakfast in the morning. Anything that you think is relevant to share on, ship shape, what it meant to you, or how it maybe framed up anything different in your mind of having to have chores and responsibility to your things and other people in the lodge?
Yeah, I feel like the ship shape was definitely like crucial for all of us because like if we're in like a place where it's gross and nasty, like we're not gonna have fun. And so like keeping ship shape keeps our mind straight. And like sometimes if we're tired, like wakes us up a little bit because we need to get the stuff done in order to have the benefits that we get from the camp. Like obviously like having maybe dessert or something like that. And yeah, I would say this the main thing is keeping the campus clean will allow us to do more things that we should be able to do
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. Lindsay asked a question: is the campus in Costa Rica safe for any civil unrest that is happening around the world today? Gosh, yeah, there does seem to be a lot of civil unrest, huh? Yeah, Costa Rica is a very safe place. Nosara is I wouldn't maybe say a sleepy town, but it is a very friendly small town. There's a pretty large expat community there. Our experience has been nothing but positive in terms of safety. We have kind of a liaison down there named Jeffrey, who's kind of the unofficial mayor, who helps us with everything and anything that we need there. We have some local team members who help us as well. We've never had any types of issues. Jamie, you're still on here. Is there anything you want to say? We've never had any issues in any way down there. Jamie, I don't know if you can pop back on here or not.
Sorry, I'm just a little bit slow.
No worries.
Yeah, it's a good question. I've traveled, all throughout Central America. Costa Rica definitely feels like the safest place. Now, it's kind of known as the Switzerland of Central America. And Nosara itself, Safari Surf School has been there for 26 years. There's a reason why they chose Nosara, and there's a reason why they chose Costa Rica. First of all, the surf break itself is very safe. I think what Garrett was saying, it actually is it's a quiet town. It's basically full of surfers and yogis. I'm sure if you're out looking for drugs at 3 a.m, something bad's going to happen, anywhere in the world. We're not doing that. We have a security guard that's at the property at night, and we've just never had any issues. I don't want to sound naive or cavalier about it, but I feel I've taken my kids there when they were little. I've been there with Matthew when he was little. Just never felt threatened or unsafe.
Yeah.
Cool. That being said, though, we always go places together in groups, and we always have a buddy system. And surfing is a water sport. We take that very seriously. But the things that I worry about at night aren't really, about being robbed or any sort of, drug related crimes or anything like that. The things I worry about are ear infections, sunburns, and kids getting hit by boards.
Yeah, and on that note, sometimes it hasn't come up yet, and Lindsay, thanks for asking the question. People ask just kind of medical safety. Like there is a medical clinic there. They have X-rays and labs, and we've certainly taken kids there for ear infections and different, things when they've gotten sick. There is, a big hospital that's about 50 to 60 minutes away. There is an airport also in Nosara if there was ever, some type of big emergency. But there is local medical care for most things that we would need. All right. Jamie, you created this. So maybe you can just tell them like the leadership experience at Surf and Service is smaller than what is in our 5-week programs. But this is something that the kids have historically loved. There are a lot of leadership games. And some of the things that we focus on is just, how do you become a leader, personally within yourself? And then what type of leadership style are you going to have in a group? So maybe, Jamie, you could just talk briefly about, the ACEs framework and some of the games that we do and how it maybe impacts your, Matthew, maybe you can just articulate after that, just like how it landed on you. What was the experience like?
Yeah. So like you can see on the screen here, this was something we developed and messed around with at Explore Austin. It's getting a common language around these life skills, leadership skills. And it's just more doing fun stuff together outside that's challenging, difficult, what we can learn about ourselves as leaders and, when to lead, when to follow. Matthew, what's been your view on the leadership course?
Like at the Surf and Service or like both programs, I would say like the games that we do are very helpful for sure, because that's like more interactive and that's how people actually learn. For example, say like the tennis ball game where we have to, like, I forgot like how we actually do it, but I know what I know what it is. And that just like gets people to like take action. What it says, ACEs, action oriented, like that gets people to make a plan and obviously be patient with each other and like understand what we're trying to do and make a plan to actually complete the goal.
Yeah, cool. And so this is an experience we'll do during the day, sometimes in the evening at the program that we do at the lodge. Lindsay, you asked another question. Do you guys recommend purchasing travel medical insurance? We do recommend you have travel insurance. In terms of medical costs, as you might imagine, when we've taken kids to the doctors, I think we paid like $30. The prescriptions were really inexpensive for, things like ear infections, that type of thing. So I think it's more of like a catastrophic, issue that we have never experienced down there that you might want that medical insurance for. Morgan, on our team might be screaming right now because I might be answering this incorrectly. And Jamie, I don't know if you have like a different opinion. We haven't really required the travel insurance, but we do recommend it. Cool. All right. We'll keep moving. I don't know. It sounds like you don't have another opinion on it. Did I sum it up pretty well?
Well, I think if it's something you're worried about
yeah,
it's not that cost prohibitive to just get it.
Right.
And have the sleep at night factor. I do it about every other time and I have no rhyme or reason to why I do that. Like sometimes I just have a feeling and I get it and sometimes I don't. But if you don't ever want to worry about it, just get it.
Yeah, thank you. So some details and logistics. We have 2 Surf and Service programs. We have one May 31st through June 13th, and then we have a second one that's June 14th through June 31st. The tuition is $67.50 for both, for a 2-week Surf and Service program. That includes everything but the flights to Costa Rica, to Liberia. In Liberia, we meet all the kids. We have a private charter that we take down to Nosara. Just call out, we do have needs-based scholarships as well. So if you're interested in enrolling your child You go to discoverterm.com. On the top right, there's an enroll button. In the enrollment process, you can select, hey, yes or no, I'm going to apply for financial aid. It asks you a number of questions. You have to upload a few different documents. And then you get a determination on if you're going to be able to receive some sort of financial-based scholarship that will deduct from that tuition amount. So there are some spots available for the summer, and there's some scholarship dollars available for the summer as well. Those are kind of the logistics of what's upcoming, and happy to answer any other questions that you all have that you think might be relevant to help you make a decision on whether you might want to send your child to surf and service this summer. So you're welcome to put those in the chat. You can also, come on live if you'd like to, and just, ask live, whichever you prefer. How is being homesick handled? Jamie, you want to answer this one?
100 different ways. It is. Homesickness will happen with every single student and some of the staff. And it's a big part of what we do is, first of all, making sure, how do I say this? We do a lot of really fun stuff in Colorado and Costa Rica, and I look at it as the surfing and the skiing are our excuse to get outside together, doing really hard, difficult things together that also tap into adrenaline and dopamine and all that stuff. The real thing we are doing at Discover Term is we're building relationships. That is the number one most important thing we do. If we do not do that, and everybody becomes an expert skier or an expert surfer or whatever, we have failed and we have let you down. So it starts with that, and the building relationships part becomes the first decision tree. When somebody is homesick, our first question as a staff is, who should be visiting with this student? Who are they connected with, whether that's students and or staff? What can we do to help them understand? You have to show a great deal of empathy. I share stories about the times I'm homesick. And then there's, we have a bag of tricks that we have to go to over and over. And is it, at powder term, do we need to let one of the dogs sleep with this kid? It is, what time of day is homesickness settling in? There's a whole roster of questions we're asking. Typically, bedtime is about 60 to 70% of our homesickness issues. But I think it's, I personally treat it just like if I was at home and one of my kids was upset. Okay, what's going on? Tell us about it. Get each other talking and listening to each other. Sometimes it's as simple as like, hey, you're missing home. Let's go downstairs. Let's have some tea. Bring a couple of your friends. Let's talk it out. Matthew, what's your take on this?
Yeah, personally for me, I don't get homesick, but I've definitely noticed it with like other kids. And like, if I were to try to help, I would just try to make some connection with them, whether that be anything, because that's like, that'll make them feel more like safe and like involved with like the whole group. And that obviously will kind of like make them not think about like missing home more, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, connection and relationships, what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Having those relationships. The other thing we do, we don't do this with the intent of preventing homesickness. Being really busy, doing really fun things like that you're engaged in, you almost don't have time to be homesick. That's actually why we see it pop up at the end of the day when things are kind of winding down. But it just depends on the student.
And I think one other just little thing to know is we've had kids who've come to our programs who've been to a bunch of camps before, and we've had kids who have come. I don't remember her name, Jamie. She was from Austin. She had never spent a night away from her family, her parents, and she came to Powder Term, and I think she was like never homesick. Like she was awesome. She's come to multiple our programs. So it's kind of across the spectrum. You never really know. And then, we've had kids kind of from all walks of life come to the programs in terms of having spent time away from home before or not.
Yeah. Being homesick is a wonderful opportunity. It is a really good opportunity to build more skills. When somebody gets homesick at Discover Term, it's not the last time they're going to be homesick or sad. Like this is something to build on.
Yeah. Any other questions that you all want to put in the chat that might be helpful or relevant to answer? Matthew, can you say more about the club you started?
Yeah, of course. So I started it this year called Surf and Service. Sorry for the name copy, but yeah. So I started with 3 other kids in my grade that I've always like been super close friends with, and I know that would definitely like help. They all surf and like are really like. They also do a bunch of volunteering with picking up trash and stuff like that. So I knew they would definitely like support the mission of the club. And every week we do meetings, like once a week we do meetings, and we have at least like, I don't know, 15 kids per meeting. And like we try to get more around the school, but it's usually kind of hard with like all the different clubs and all like whatever, like all the different schedules of the kids. But we talk about ocean safety, picking up trash, what Discover Term does. And like more, we also talk about ocean awareness because we go out to Santa Cruz, which is the closest beach to us some of the time. And we teach them how to surf. And obviously we need to go over like being safe in the ocean and obviously making sure everyone is accounted for. And let's see, last March, like, I don't know, like early March, we went out to Santa Cruz and we had like a big group of kids, and it actually turned out really well. We picked up like so much trash on the beach, and we taught at least like 10 people how to surf. And like seeing those people like learning how to surf, everybody was so happy, everybody was cheering, and we had like some random people on the beach cheering for us, and it was such a great experience.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We'd be happy to follow up with you after the fact. You can reach us on the website. You're happy to chat with us there. We'd be happy to have a private phone call with you to answer any other questions that might be helpful and relevant for you. You can visit the website. I guess there's a little on the bottom left. Maybe your website popped up. You can visit the website also and get some more information. So we'd be thrilled to serve your child at one of our programs this summer, Surf and Service. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. Jamie and Matthew, thanks also for joining and providing such helpful context.
Yeah, of course. No problem. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Bye.